I'm sure you've all heard by now our decision to play Andy Dalton as we go into Las Vegas to play the Raiders. Sitting Bryce down here, you know, after yesterday, just went home, watched the film, had some conversations with coaches, with Dan Brandt. So had to gather a lot of information through this morning and made that decision after looking at it that this is the best decision for our group, for our team going forward.
So there you have it. Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, a.k.a. man of the people, here to be your resource in the media for everything regarding this Carolina Panthers team. Here tonight to talk about whatever you guys talk about. Now, I got a feeling that I know what we're going to talk about, which is fine. But again, welcome to the show. These shows the day after, I will do them all season long. It's what I've been doing for years. The day after a game, we will have a show the night. And it's 100% for you guys to interact with me, ask any questions that you want. I'm going to ask for a second because I got to pin it into the comments. This is all about interacting with you. I'm live for the reason of, not just being a talking head, as they say in the industry, but to interact with you, to answer your questions. So people that want to do so, I encourage you to do so. It's a lot of fun. You all get to meet me, which I enjoy, but I get a chance to meet you, which is really fun for me as well. So the link is already in the description, but in just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and pin it into the comments. Other ways to chat, my members get preferential treatment. You guys help support us. We're independent media, and the super chats are always welcome. So give me just a second, and I will pin this in the comments, and then we'll go ahead and rock and roll into this show. Whatever you guys want to talk about, but of course, I have a few things that I'm going to throw out there, but give me just a second. Let me pin this in the comments. All right. So got that out there. And I can't pin it just yet. I need one more comment so I can pin it. But nevertheless, it's in the description. So yeah, this is my second video of the day. You don't get the title man of the people by just doing video whenever, one a day. When something this major happens, you got to talk about it. You got to go out on the internet, answer all the questions that everybody has about it. And I had a request from, there we go, from Knucklehead K. Knucklehead K, what's up? Hold on. I didn't put all my earpiece stuff in so that I can hear you. But I'm gonna put it in. And then we're gonna get into it, and hopefully everybody watch. Hey, don't be afraid. It's just me and you, and I like to hear from you guys. How do you feel about Bryce Young being benched, Andy Dalton being your starter? How do you feel about it? Are you mad? You happy? Or maybe you got some other questions about it. But there's a link in the description for you to click on. Come join the show. Or you can look in the comments. It's pinned there as well. Let's get Knucklehead K on the show. Let's get some sound effects for it, too.
What's going on? How we doing?
There we go. We get some. There we go. Okay. Let's go.
How we doing?
We doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Look, trying to stay still. I'm moving back up, but like my head said, I just had a couple of comments based off basically the live from earlier today.
I don't think you're driving. I think you in the passenger seat right now, ain't you?
Well, kind of. I'm in the bed, actually. Just
there you go.
back.
You seem like you're in a comfortable spot. We're going to say where we at today? Because
Yeah,
I know you'd be all across the world.
Right
What
now
state?
I'm in Alabama. Somewhere. Alabama. I think
How you going to start to have a bad signal? Come on now. You tell me Alabama ain't got good service. One more time.
I only got one more. I'm almost in Talladega. I got one bar though.
Well, let's get you going because the calls are starting to queue up, and I want to be band of the people. I'm gonna have to step away for a second to get my clock, but you got 3 minutes. Let's go. What you got?
All right, that's cool. It's gonna be real fast and simple. First off, I'm not too mad about the decision to bench Bryce. I agree with some other people that I heard. I'm not sure if it was here or if it was on Spaces. They said that Bryce probably should have sat last season and basically earned his spot. But with him being the first round pick, they didn't do such things. Um, that's the first thing. So I hope we can see some progression because, as you said earlier, Bryce in 9 games has what, one touchdown,
One touchdown pass in
and Andy
9
Dalton in
games.
1 game has 2.
He had 2 in 1 game. Over
So
300 yards.
so that's that. And then as far as everything else that I wanted to say, did we draft anybody this year? The only rookie that I have seen that has had some type of actual play production seriously is Jatavian Sanders. Um, Xavier Leggett in college, and most of the highlights that I seen was running like little pick and pop screens or like a jet sweep kind of deal. Why isn't he able to do that now versus just like he got 19 snaps yesterday with no production, no help, no nothing. He was one of the 2 guys that I seen when I was on all 22 when Bryce threw the interception. Chuba Hubbard was open to his left when he tried to force that ball to Deontay, and Xavier Leggett was open on the right when both of them looked like they ran either what would be considered a hitch or a curl.
Yeah,
Why he
look.
tried to force that ball into Deontay, I don't know. I don't understand.
So, just to make sure I got your both questions, did you ask also about the rookies before you went into talking about Bryce and those?
Yeah, like, did we not draft any rookies so they can play this year? Because and that's on both sides of the ball. I mean, I know we got rid of Michael Barrett, but as far as Trevin, why do they keep sending IHOP's premier pancake maker trying to blitz him and he's not like
Not making it
send
through.
Trevin in there? Yeah, he's not making it through. There's plenty of times when I watched all 22, he was either getting pancake flat on his back or getting pushed somewhere when trying to make initial contact. We got to use our brains here. I feel like even with me watching film, if I was a coach, I'd be like, okay, Josie, I need you to sit a couple minutes out. Just give Trevin a chance. Like, we're already down 13-0. It can't hurt any worse.
Yeah, yeah. So I am definitely rookies getting some playing time. Has been Jatavian Sanders at tight end. It has been Trevin, even though it's been mostly at special teams, and then it has been Xavier Leggett. Those 3 rookies have been getting time. Of course, Jonathan Brooks has not going to play, being on IR. Michael Barrett got traded. I'm missing somebody. Shaw Smith-Wade,
Yeah.
he'll be inactive, and one more. Is it one more? Because we had 7, right?
No, I think
We had 6.
Trevin.
But
No, we had 7. You're right. I think it was 7. I'm not. It's still not making sense. They're not getting the play
yeah,
that we felt like they should get. We had pretty good picks for the most part. With one being on IR, we can't do nothing about that. But the ones that we did have, we're not seeing anything to at least help on either side of the ball.
yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna cut you right there. I'm gonna address your questions.
I got you. I'm good. I was just saying, I appreciate you listening to me. I wanted to get on here so bad earlier. Oh.
Hey, but I'm gonna answer your questions. But I'm gonna get you off. Hey, continue to drive safe out there.
I appreciate you, man. Be safe. You as well.
Likewise. So, yeah, we got, let's see, Thomas in the waiting room and JK123. So, you two, I will get to you in just a minute. But just to finish up on Knucklehead K, one of our great loyal supporters, members of the website. She was on earlier and couldn't wait to get back on today. But, we are getting some play with our rookies. So to me, when you get 3 rookies playing out of 7, that's not bad. You don't expect most of these guys to get much impact. And it could well be 4 if Brooks was healthy, even though the biggest thing about everything going on right now is with our offense being so bad, like a lot of plans, a lot of things that you may want to do get scrapped because now you're going into a whole different kind of ball game emergency situation with guys. Different things change, but Jatavian's getting a lot of play due to the injuries with Trimble and Thomas. And Xavier Legette, he did have, as she mentioned, 20 snaps yesterday, which is a lot. That's more than he had the other. That's 42%. But I'll say this for me, myself, I've been like, not focused on everything because to me, the huge glaring problem has been Bryce Young. But I want to make sure I get to these other people that are patiently waiting. Again, once again, thank you so much, Knucklehead Kate, and everybody else out there watching. The links in the description is also pinned in the comments. These shows are meant 100% for you guys. There's not many places, honestly, it's not any place that you will have a credentialed member of the media making themselves available live to talk to you and answer all your questions. So I hope that you take advantage of it. Ask me your questions. And without further ado, the teacher of the year in Ohio, Thomas Frisbee, joins us live.
What's good?
How you feeling, man?
I don't know. I mean, Bryce should have expected this at some point because you can't just keep producing, game after game with no results. And everybody kept saying, "Oh, you had a great preseason and everything." Okay, you had a couple series. I mean, couple series preseason is going to be much different compared to what you've done last year and so far this year. And he's still making the same mistakes. When you're only throwing 3-4 yard passes, the defense is going to sit there and realize, hey, we just got to sit right there. He's not going to throw it past us.
So,
But
so Thomas, you're telling me when you
yeah,
look at this chart right here,
mm-hmm.
you're not feeling like he's going to be any threat to you?
No. I mean, I've never played football because I wasn't big enough to play. But just by looking at that, I mean, after a while, defenses, they know how to scheme against you. It's like this year, the thing was like, okay, we got the weapons. Great. Got weapons. But when yesterday I made a comment on Twitter that when the Panthers drafted Jimmy Clausen, it's like, this is almost borderline Jimmy Clausen territory on how bad he got, compared. And somebody said something on Twitter earlier. I was scrolling through, and they were making comparisons. Is this like a Ryan Leaf comparison? Like how Texans took Stroud. But it's like I think at some point he should have been benched or not brought in as quickly as he was, and it got him to be like Russian, and now he's just lost. And I'm not sure if he is able to come back from this to where maybe you bring him back later, but maybe next year you try to find a trade partner if maybe his time in Carolina is done with, because I don't know if his psyche is going to be where it should be, being a number one pick, just like how Wilson was and Darnold.
Now, you said earlier that you weren't too sure on how you felt, right, about this change?
Yeah, it's like I've been expecting it, but it's like also my thing is it's like where was it, last year? I know Canales wanted to try to let him get his feet going, but now Canales is like, okay, we're 0-2. I'm seeing no progress. We brought weapons in. And I think also for the fact Canales is probably looking is like, okay, the past couple coaches here, they've been gone and, hardly have had any time. So I need to try to start winning. But the only person, and the thing is, it doesn't matter if we bring in a new quarterback, that front office, especially who owns it, is in complete disarray. There's no organizational structure. So, I think we've only won not even 33 games since Tepper took over. I mean, I'm not a business person, but I'm pretty sure I could probably run a team slightly better or anybody else with, billions and billions of dollars. But I don't know. I just hope for Bryce's sake, maybe he can bounce back from this because of the fact he has been committed, but I don't want him to become, spiteful and want to go somewhere else and then ball out. Like a lot of people have done when they left Carolina and ball out elsewhere. Like the couple quarterbacks that are 2-0 in the league right now.
Hey, I'm going to end with this. Do you feel like the team's going to be better or worse this season with what just happened?
I mean, playoffs, no. playoffs. No, I think the goal right now is to score more points, to be an actual threat, so you don't run the risk of winning one game. I think if they win at least 5 or 6, it could be a success. But what they should have done was maybe started Dalton a long time ago as a bridge quarterback. But now I don't know if you can bring Bryce back, and what are you going to do if they start stinking up again? Are you going to say, "Hey Bryce, we messed up. Come on back in"? You may not want to do that. It's like, no, if I wasn't good for you when we were sucking and we still suck, why should I go back out there? I mean,
Hey,
as simple as
Thomas,
that. What's
thank you
up?
so much. I'm
Yeah.
gonna continue to run through these, and hopefully you'll come back on again, and we'll have something good to talk about.
Yes, that is for sure. Thank you, sir. Have a good night, Chris.
Yeah, you as well. So just a few comments. Let's see. We got Jay still here holding. So Jay, you're going to be up next. But again, want to continue to encourage you all to come on the show. Links in the description. Also pinned it into the comments to hear what you had to say. Frustrations, questions, whatever it may be. Let's talk about it and interact. For me, I asked Thomas about that. Hey, you happy or you sad? Man, I am excited as can be. This isn't going to answer all the questions, but like as a temporary fix and just being able to see some decent football on a Sunday, that is what I'm as excited about. Not excited about Bryce's demise or anything on like him on a personal level, but just from football, being out, going out there watching the game, seeing some results, seeing all these new pieces that we had been able to be evaluated because they're actually doing something. They're actually getting a 50-50 ball thrown their way. That's a true 50-50 ball. That would be great and exciting for me to see. We're also going to go over, I got the Andy Dalton, if you have not seen it, him talking to the media today about this opportunity. So I'm going to play that for you as well. So make sure you hang around. We're going to go through that video, chop that up. Usually I don't play the full interview, but I haven't had a chance to look at it, to be quite honest with you guys. There's been a lot of news today. But, we'll go ahead and take a look at that Andy Dalton interview together here just shortly. I'm going to go ahead and bring on Jay. Let me see if I can do it right. There we go. We got you going. How you going, man?
What's going on, man? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly well.
I try to turn the light on. Man, first of all, thank you for having me on the show for a couple of minutes. I've been watching you for a while. Um,
Hey,
and honestly,
hope you
like
come
like
back on, man.
yes, sir, yes, sir. Honestly, like what you just said about being excited about Andy Dalton, answered my question. I was wanting to know, like, you know, how you felt about the situation. Because in my opinion, I think this can go two ways for Bryce. And like I know he's gonna get another shot in the NFL, whether it be with the Panthers or somewhere else. He'll get another shot, whether it
Absolutely.
be later on down the road. He'll get a shot. But as far as what's about to happen, I feel like Andy Dalton is a proven game manager, which we need to see because game managers actually get performance done on the field. We're gonna get to see what Deontay Johnson actually looks like, what Xavier actually looks like. And honestly, like from my opinion, what I think, like I feel like they want Bryce to see what it looks like to be an actual game manager, because I think that's all Bryce can really be. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful term. Um, I just think, from his size, speed, whatever he has to offer, I think it's literally game manager material. He just doesn't know how to do that yet. And I think Andy is gonna provide that blueprint for him just for like a few games. Play a few games, Andy, and show him how it's done to be a game manager successfully. So yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of Bryce and his future, yeah, overall, just like NFL big picture, extremely way too early, like to give up on the guy as being a quarterback at this level, being a number one pick overall. What was he, 22 at the most?
Yeah.
So he has a lot of time to get it together. He just needs to have some kind of reset, whether that reset is good enough just being on the bench for several games here in Carolina, or whether the reset that he needs is going to a whole different team. But certainly believe that there's a future for him in the NFL. And I think I'm losing track of the question that you asked me a bigger question though was it about Andy? I'm sorry, I forget.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was just wanting to know, how you felt about the whole situation with Andy. Like, what do you think he's gonna do? Do you think he's
Yeah,
gonna, because in my opinion, I don't think he's gonna be the all-star that everybody's hoping. But he's at least gonna show us what our offense is supposed to look like, from a game manager standpoint.
I think you hit it there perfectly, man. Like, I don't think people right now, for the majority, are going to be expecting, like, yes, we're now playoff bound. But I think right now, I know I'm excited about the fact that the games are going to look like a football game. Whether we win them
Yeah,
or lose them, they'll look like a typical football game in the NFL where we might have a chance, they score, then we score, maybe we have a big play. Like, there's some excitement. There's been absolutely zero excitement. Nine
right.
straight possessions last week in New Orleans that they scored. We didn't score until the game was 30-0. That is not
Yep.
looking like any kind of football whatsoever. This week, I think it was 20-0,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Does not
For
look
the first
like,
down.
yeah. And then we got a field goal. Yay, we got three
Yep.
points. So it's,
Oh man, we were
and
at the
then,
game, and
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, we were at the game, my wife and I, and I mean, and I like anybody listening, like I want y'all to understand, we are rooting, like we are rooting. Nobody wanted to boo. Nobody wanted to boo. We found every reason in the stadium to cheer. And I mean and you can attest, they gave us these 30 year the flags,
Yeah.
giving all the fans the flags. We wanted every reason to wave those flags. Field goal was the one and only main reason to wave those flags, and it was, man, it was tough. It was
and you
tough.
and it wasn't free to get in, right? So you want some return on your vet. Like, what other entertainment do you pay for? Movies, concert, comedy shows, you name it. Like, you get
Yes.
your money's worth. But when you pay for a football game, which is not cheap, it's the most expensive entertainment out there that there is. If you and your wife went, I'm going to say there's no way that you spend less than $200, and that you'd probably be extremely happy if you could figure out a way to spend $200 to go to a game.
Yep.
But
That's right.
and to watch, the team just get plummeted is just terrible. So I think going back to what I expect with Andy Dalton is just if you give me a game that we have a fight in it for just a fight, then I'm excited that we can now build something. And now, Canales, Dan, you have time to go ahead and continue to figure things out, to build stuff. But things are so bad, I think just nothing can be evaluated. You can't evaluate the coach. I mean, I guess you could try to say that you could evaluate the coaches, but I'm excited that Dave made this move, and I know we could get into how exactly did he make the move that Tepper forced him to do it, whatever. But I greatly applaud him for, looks like we lost Jay right there, but I greatly applaud Dave Canales for making this change so early on in the season because it ain't going nowhere. You're a new coach. You want to set the tone right, start your career right, and just to be able to have the courage to hit the pause button on a guy that you made such a significant investment in, that means you want to win. And I have been liking Dave. I hadn't liked how he's come out and not just immediately just taking it on him, saying, hey, my fault that we look so bad today. But this move right here with benching Bryce is a step in the right direction. And I'm happy to see it. Happy now to see Deontay Johnson, Jonathan Mingo, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, Miles Sanders. Like, I could rattle off on and on. Happy to see maybe the offense get something going where the defense can start to get their vibe going and say, okay, we got something to, like, not scoring just takes the air out of everybody on your team. And I know we can talk about the defense as well, like needing to improve, but those guys were doing some things this Sunday. They were doing some things that could, creating turnovers early. We had two that could give us some momentum. Hey, give us a long drive. Give us a 5-minute drive. Give us anything other than 3 out. Give us a 10-play drive that results in a field goal. And you got different dynamics to the game and how that could help you with everything. So let me go ahead and get to some of these comments, and then we'll go into watching the Andy Dalton video, his interview, speaking with the media today. That's courtesy of the Panthers that I'm able to share that with you. But meanwhile, we'll get into some of these comments. Chris Mack, what's up? Question, does this mean Bryce is done in Carolina? So, Chris, I don't believe this means that he's done in Carolina. I would imagine that there's a plan to get Bryce back on the field. And, Andy's not the long-term answer. Certainly you just want some better things going on. So I would imagine this step is just interim to get things going, continue to coach Bryce up, pick a game, pick a spot on the schedule that looks a little bit more soft than what we currently have, going up against. We don't have a cookie, a easy schedule, but pick your point in the schedule and target to say, hey, let's try to have you back for this game and see where it goes. Now, what if Andy Dalton does terrible and sinks it up? I'm not going there. Technically anything's possible, but I just don't feel like Andy Dalton is going to be that way where he's just thinking it up. To me, he's such a veteran, 36 years old. You can game manager, whatever you want to call him, say, hey, just don't lose the game. Throw these safe throws, throw these balls, hand the ball off, keep us going. Appreciate the question, Chris Mack. Thank you also very much for being a member. Knucklehead K, I like that. We vibing. Keep on driving safely, Knucklehead. Let's see what else we got here. She got her headset this time. No, Michael, this is not my third one today. This is my second live for today. Got to be here for you guys. Second live for today, but got to be a man of the people. Let's go ahead and okay, let me answer this, and then we're going to go ahead and go into likely the Andy Dalton interview. Welcome back, Chris. Do you think Bryce subliminally lost the locker room? Good question. So I have been in the locker room. I wasn't in the locker room all preseason, and actually no media is allowed to be in the locker rooms during the preseason. I don't say allowed, it's not available. We do not have access to the locker room until that final week before the season starts. And, we're only now entering the third week. But I was in the locker room last week. I hadn't been in there a lot this season, so I do want to say that. I have not been in the locker room after the game because generally after the games, I'm going live on the field to talk to you guys about what just happened. So with that all being said, give some perspective to or context to everything. I don't feel like he's lost the locker room. I just feel like this was an opportunity to not lose the locker room from a Bryce Young perspective, from a Dave Canales perspective, right? You got guys in there and you're just continually putting out the absolutely horrendous performances. There's been so many stats out there. I'm not even going to go through a bunch of stats because I know if you're a fan and you've been listening to me or listening to anybody else, which is fine, like you've heard 101 stats each week, new stuff is just about how terrible it is. Is it the worst team ever? So disregarding all that, you just know it's bad. So appreciate the question. Let's go ahead and cue up this Andy Dalton interview because I haven't seen it yet, and I want to see what he has to say. Here we go. Andy Dalton talks to the media today.
Big smile on your face. Are you happy about this? Or?
I'm really excited for this opportunity. When I came here, I wasn't sure if I was going to get another opportunity to start again, and so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited about what's ahead, and it's a tough situation. I've been on both sides of it, and it's not hard. I mean, it's hard on everybody. So, but for me, I'm looking forward to it.
Were you surprised when Coach talked to you today?
I was, yeah. I definitely wasn't expecting it, but like when he told me, it's like one of those deals where it's like, okay, this is one thing that I've been praying for, another opportunity, and I've got it now.
So quick pause on that one right there. So this was genuinely like enough is enough, right? If you kind of think about it, if he didn't see it coming, and to me, watching that video there, Andy looks genuinely happy, genuinely surprised, and excited. Then this was, to me, just another acknowledgement, and I'm happy to see it, that somebody said, yo, this, we can't do this. Because you guys know I'm pretty even-keeled kind of guy. I started going off on tangents yesterday, like, I can't keep watching this. This is terrible. So, I feel like Bryce may come back, but I just don't feel like it's going to be right away. if you make a change like that, and you're like, dang it, this is bad. We got all this money invested. We got all these new pieces, new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new quarterback coach, new linemen, new receivers, and we got this. Like, I got to at least be able to see what these other people can do that I brought in here. So let me continue on with the Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way we build things and the way we do things, I mean, for me, if you can get the ball out of your hands and make quick decisions and play with timing and accuracy and anticipation, all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of that in this offense. And so we still don't know who we are yet. It's still early, and we're going to find out, I feel like, in the next several weeks of, all right, who are we really and what are we going to be able to do well?
See, we're going to find out. Nobody knows. It's like you have all this potential, you have all these, but your quarterback is the highest paid person. Typically, Bryce is on a rookie contract, but your quarterback is your highest paid person for a reason. Everything goes through him. He touches the ball every single time. And if he's bad, and Bryce just looks bad, this is how Bryce can look during a game. And we got lots of these pictures here. But, just looking up, I don't even know what he's looking up at the scoreboard to see a replay of how much time is on the clock, is anything. No, I mean, and again, it's nothing like, oh, I don't like Bryce the person. I'm talking about Bryce the player between the lines.
Should be surprised at how quickly this came. Did Dave tell you guys why it was so quick?
He did not.
What have you learned in these first 2 weeks just taking these mental reps?
Yeah, I mean, we're close in a lot of areas. I think that's one of the things. We haven't been able to have the success that we want. We haven't been able to sustain things. There's things that have hurt us that haven't even given ourselves a chance. And so I think that's the biggest thing. And moving forward, hopefully we can really put it together and see what we can be.
Have teammates said anything to you about getting this job?
Yeah, I mean, I have talked to some people, and everybody just said, congratulations.
What has Bryce said to you?
We've had a conversation after it happened, and that's between me and him.
And how tough for you, seeing the way the offense was struggling, was it for you to stand there watching the last 2 weeks?
For me, it's one of those things. I was trying to do everything I could, and from the moment I got here, I was going to do everything I could to help Bryce and to try to help this team. And so, I was giving my input on certain things. I was able to, see it from my point of view and kind of share that. But, moving forward, it's like I get a different opportunity to affect the game.
You referenced this, that this was a hard situation for everyone. How do you feel about Bryce having to go through this #1 pick and, a guy you've gotten close to?
Yeah, Bryce and I are really close, and it's tough sitting in that position, hearing, that you're not going to be starting, and all the emotions that come with it, and so it is tough to be there. Hopefully, our friendship and everything that we've built from the moment he got here will stay, and I know it will. It's one of those things. He even said it in his press conference after the game. Like, this hard times are, it's where your true colors show, and for him, I feel like he's going to come out and be the same person, and but I feel for the whole situation. It's not fun for anybody, and just got to keep moving forward.
He's got the support. The locker room is obviously still behind him talking yesterday. How do you, as the quarterback, go not stepping over the toes of that leadership, but still being a leader in your own right?
Yeah, I've been in this position before, and I have been able to have conversations, and I think just the experience that I've had in this league for a long time, I think it kind of resonates with a lot of people when I'm able to say certain things. And so I was letting Bryce do his thing, and I had my role in it all too.
Andy, it's been about a year. You had these
changing that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different perspective. You know, you're coming in and you didn't get all the OTA reps. Things were kind of set up for somebody else. Training camp, it was all like all of that. But I think at this point in my career, like, I'm just thankful for an opportunity. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it again, and so for me, it's like, man, I'm fired up. I'm pumped. I'm getting to get a chance to do what I've done my whole career, and I'm just really looking forward to it.
Andy, it's been about a year since you played in a regular season game. How ready do you feel mentally and physically?
Yeah, I'm ready. You know, so a lot of times sitting around watching.
Andy, not asking you to predict the future, but how confident are you that Bryce will respond well from this and go on to a long and fruitful career?
Yeah, and I'm very confident. He's made up the right way, and you know, who knows what's going to happen. But for him, I know that he's got the right character traits, you know, what he believes in, and that's going to carry him far beyond this right now.
Oh. All right, so I normally don't play the full interview, but I hadn't seen it yet. And with this being the huge news that it is, I don't think it was a bad idea to let everybody hear straight from your new starting quarterback, Andy Dalton. That was hours ago, earlier today, in the locker room that information was gathered. And that video, again, was courtesy of the Carolina Panthers there with Andy Dalton. So he's excited. He's ready to go. He feels like, you know, this is an opportunity he's been praying for. His relationship with Bryce has been great. Hopefully that'll maintain. I don't think this would change it. This might be awkward for a second because, you know, you're so excited, and a great friend of yours over there, you know, maybe a little bit down, but, you know, Bryce is a really good guy. So it could be different. Bryce could be over there just cheering him on so much that it doesn't become a weird thing. But by the way, in case you're wondering what position Bryce will be at now, will he be completely benched and just told, hey, put on street clothes and watch? No, that's not the case. He's going to be the backup quarterback. He'll be QB2. And in terms of bringing in other quarterbacks and getting them, you know, ready to go, it sounds like they're open to it. To me, a little bit of things that I got from this, and I'm not going to say, oh, I feel very strongly about it. I wouldn't even say 50%, but just a little fleeting thought that came to mind is, yeah, David Canales wants to win, and he wants to get some quarterbacks that he can coach to be successful. And he mentioned that, you know, I don't know if I'm going to bring in more quarterbacks. Well, to me, that says he knows and he's wanting to get himself a good arsenal of team. He wants a competitive team. And so I feel like that's something to build on. I right now still have confidence in Dave Canales. I still think that he can be a piece for this team. And this was a big step. This was a tremendous step in getting him to a point where he can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get back into the comments. Lines are still open for those that want to call in. There's a link in the description. We'd love to hear from you. There's also a link that's pinned in the comments. So if you want to be able to join me, I'd love to hear from you. Ask a question. Anything with a phone, anything with a camera, phone, your laptop, whatever. Click on that. That'll allow you to join us and talk on the show. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of these questions. Do you think Andy Dalton will be able to move this offense? I absolutely do think he'll be able to move the offense. And I'm going to show you why here in just a second. But Andy Dalton moving this offense? Yes, I certainly believe so. All right, here's a good one. Lord Bezeldorf. Give me a second to take some drink of my water here. Is there any sort of secret clause or stipulation where we can force Tepper to sell the team? Super genius Tepper hiring people who are first timers instead of experienced proven guys. So you said LOL, so I'm kind of assuming you might know this. I won't get you the real long technical answer, but in essence, no. There's no way that you can get him out. The only way that you could even begin to get him out would have to be a vote by the other owners of the team, of the league. I think they have to have some kind of cause They just can't say we don't like this guy. So they have to have some sort of cause, and then they have to vote, and then there has to be an overwhelming amount of votes. So essentially, whether you want to call it the Good Old Boys Network or you want to call it the Billionaires Club, typically guys that are billionaires like other businessmen that are billionaires, and they don't like anybody telling them what to do. So if you give them the opportunity to say, hey, would you vote to kick this guy out? No, they don't want to set that precedence. I own stuff so I can run it. Uh-oh. Sorry, I could not find the mute button in time for that sneeze. But for that reason, you're not going to see that happen. But Beezle Dwarf, certainly appreciate the question right there. And I don't think I've said this all video, but if you're watching, hit the like button. It helps me out, right? It helps me to continue to be able to have access to the team, access to the players, and even occasionally access to the coaches. The bigger I grow, the more that I can do for you. So please hit that like button at the least. And if you really like the content, subscribe. We follow the team everywhere they go, every day, every time there's news. I will be out in Las Vegas this Sunday, a long flight that I'm not really looking forward to, but I am extremely excited about seeing that stadium, which I have never been to. So let's continue to move on through here. Andy is about to put up some numbers with this offense. You don't say. That's how you feel? Let me show you guys something. All right. This was Andy Dalton last year in Seattle. This was a different coach, so, we're not going to get too hung up on like different codes, what the scheme was, the score of the game, yada, 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 yada. We're just going to look at this passing chart. He was 34 of 58, over 300 yards, nearly 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and Andy Dalton was slinging the ball. 30 yards deep, 30 yards deep, 20. I mean, I'm not even saying these guys have to throw 40 and 50-yard bombs all the time. I'm not saying he even has to throw a 25-yard pass all the time. But give me one. Bryce was throwing less than 15. So you saying Andy is going to put up numbers? Listen, I'm not here to predict exactly what Andy's going to do. But I will very confidently say, we get to watch a football game now. We get to watch some talent. We get to watch people do stuff instead of just get to watch them on the sidelines being irritated. Get to watch Taylor Moton pick him up because he ran into Taylor Moton. Stuff like that. We're done seeing that, and I'm happy about that. And Shannon Tyler, thank you so much for this comment here. We were earlier at the top of the show, I was talking with Knucklehead K about the draft picks. I knew there were 7, but we only named 6. The reason is this guy right here, Jaden Crumdy, is on IR. He's not currently able to play, but there you go. There's a 7. So thank you very much, Shannon Tyler, for that. And guess what? Okay. We got a
super chat.
Hey, I always need these. You know why? We don't have the big checks from the companies that help support this company and what we do in our operations. This is a business for me. It's not something I do as a hobby. It's something I love tremendously, but it is a business. I do pay people and have to take care of those charges in order to continue to do stuff. 100% supported by you all. So when there's a super chat, I have to stop and say thank you, Darrell, sincerely. He says, I know the wide receivers are happy. I was calling for a Bridgewater reunion yesterday. Keep pounding. Yeah. And let's not get it twisted. They're not happy because it's like, hey, I hate Bryce Young. It's not that. Just happy because we get a chance to catch the ball. I think that's easily, if you're a running back, you get excited about the opportunity to get the ball handed to you. If you're a quarterback, if you're a wide receiver, you get excited about a guy that, will get you the ball. So I absolutely think these wide receivers are happy. And, I'm not going to have the fact that I'm extremely excited too, that I have a chance to watch some good football. We got about 15 minutes left. You are free to call in. I hope you call in. This is what the shows are all about. Again, every Monday, because all games are Sunday this year, every Monday, except after the Germany game. I think that might be the one exception because though I may get back in time, I don't know. I'll let you guys know. But these shows are 100% for you guys to call in, talk to me, credentialed member of the media, the guy that's in the locker room, a guy that's on the field, ask your questions. So without further ado, let me hit this button up. I was going to hit the button, and whoever was holding left. Here we go. Here we go. Why you do that to me, man? You left.
Hey,
I was
my bad, man. My bad.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. I appreciate all the reporting you do and all the stuff you do and whatnot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anytime you got a question, I'm here for you.
So I'm a backwoods reporter.
Okay.
I like this move, and that's because the team feels that they have enough pieces in play to actually win some games. Bryce Young ain't look good at all.
Absolutely
I
horrible.
mean, when you got Adam Thielen standing still at the line of scrimmage and you overthrow him, that's an issue. He
Yeah.
wasn't even covered. I think the closest guy was 10 yards away.
It's been some moments, man. It's been
I
like a
like Bryce
circus.
Young, but I don't think he should have started. He should have learned like some of the other good quarterbacks in the league. Like you can't just like let me put it to you like this. Cam Newton was a freak of nature when he came into Carolina. He took an Auburn team that had nobody and basically took them to a place where they hadn't been before. We drafted him number 1 overall. Bryce Young was not set up for success last year at all. They gave him every benefit of the doubt this year, and what happened?
What do you think
It's
Bryce's biggest detriment is to being a successful quarterback in the NFL
he's
right
hearing
now?
footsteps.
So you think mentally he's gotten off his game?
I mean, when you get hit that many times in 1 year, I mean, what do you think's going to happen?
Do you think that he can be a quarterback at this level?
I think he needs time to learn.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, I'm not going to be 100% on that. I
Yeah,
ain't
yeah.
going. Don't quote me in the future,
Hey,
but
we all speculate based on what we see, right?
at this juncture, the best thing for the team is to put somebody in like the Red Rocket that has had success in the past.
I agree with you.
Like, hell, you never. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can cuss on here.
Nah, we keep it PG-13. You know, my
My
kids
bad,
always
my
be
bad.
around. Appreciate you asking.
But you can't run the ball if the opposing team does not respect your pass game at all. Your
No.
defense is going to get exhausted. Like JC did give up that touchdown at the beginning, but then he came back and he started making play after play to basically be like, "My bad, I messed up."
Yeah.
And he definitely put us in a position a couple times.
Just
Defense
think
did it.
if we had a taken advantage of just one of those turnovers, we had a short field that could also help the defense. That gives them like energy feeds off energy, right? So
Yeah,
if we had been
they
able to
gave
do
up.
that, go ahead.
They gave up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they won't fighting, but how you gonna fight when you can't even throw for 200 yards in a game?
Yeah.
How you gonna fight if you can't rush for 100?
Yeah. And you know,
Offensive line ain't the problem this year either, so nobody can scapegoat them. I remember last week 1, Sanders got blew up. Both Sanders actually got blew up on a pass block play.
yeah, yeah. You know, they have some problems everywhere. So this is to say like this was the only problem by any means, but it's certainly the one that can get you the biggest change real quick. Anything else you
And
want
we're
to say
gonna know what we got.
before?
We're
Anything
gonna
else
know
you
what we
want to?
got with Red Rocket back there.
Yeah. I was just
Because
trying to make sure I
regardless,
got your wrap up comment because we're about to wrap up, but I want to make sure I gave you an opportunity to close.
Keep pounding, and appreciate you putting me on.
Hey, come back on again, all right? Appreciate you so much.
All right, Bob.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up here. I'm going to try to run through some comments pretty quickly. I always again got to give some mentions to my members here. Donald Byers, I say his name wrong every time. Byers is how you would say that. Uh-oh. Almost banned you, Leonard. But Leonard Kowalski saying we haven't seen a deep ball completion since Dalton in Seattle last year. Here we go. Interesting comment from Elsway. Let's take a look at this. Everybody is happy, but this is actually bad. Really bad because now our quarterback situation is still up in the air. The move is only a positive because we may be able to evaluate the other positions. No, this is a good move because we were in a bad quarterback situation having him out there, and continue to have him out there and just get pounded, look worse and worse and worse. It's like kicking a man that's already down. So it's already been known before today the quarterback situation is bad. Now we're admitting that it's bad. We're accepting that as a reality. And now we're going to start to fix this to get it to a good place, right? So before you get if something's broke, you got to first acknowledge it's broke. And that's what has happened today with this organization, is acknowledging that our quarterback situation is broke. And now, like you said, we're going to bring Andy Dalton in here. And at the least, what we should be expecting out of this is to now be able to see, okay, how does Dave Canales continue to learn as a coach and grow and manage his team? How does his play calling continue to evolve? How does he continue to get these other players involved? Do we get this finally see Ivero's defense playing like it did last year? Because now you certainly don't have your defense out there for an hour. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but I can probably look this up pretty quickly. That time of possession this year for the Panthers has been atrocious. The defense has been out there living on the field. Let's see if I can quickly find this information. I'm not, but I really feel like it was about close to 40 minutes yesterday and probably 35 minutes against New Orleans. So appreciate the comment, Elseway, for taking the time to come on the show. Let me scroll on down, see if we can get really going to miss Derek Brown, says Carolina boy. Yeah. Let's see. So we've got a few other comments here. After the next week, fans will be complaining about Evero and the defense. I don't know, man. I admit immediately we have a lot of things that are wrong with this team. Please don't take the fact that Bryce has now been benched as if like everything's fixed. But I really feel all that we want to see, all that you should want to see, is some progression, some getting us out the mud, getting us out of this 2-15 season, worst team in the league, currently 0-2, tied for the worst team in the league. So many stats that just says we're bad. So many conversations about, is this the worst franchise ever? Or I hope we just don't go into, like, this is a step. Look at it this way. This is a step to get things better. That's all we need. One step, one progress. I feel like I'm about to go into a Dave Canales type rendition, so I'm going to cut that out. But that's it for tonight. I'm going to quickly see if I missed any of my members. Looks like I got them all. So we did good. Great show. Tomorrow is Tuesday. The team will be off. So I don't want to say there, you will not see this face, as Steve Smith famously said. He scored again. But if you do see this face, that means Dan Morgan answered the call and made another trade or transaction. Otherwise, I will see you guys starting Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Typically no news Saturday, but it is a road game, so you will get a chance to join me again. Kind of same ordeal. A little casual chat Saturday night from Vegas about the game coming up, and then we'll definitely cover you game day in Vegas from start to finish. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to root for this team. Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe.